Make sure that microphone is on. Okay, so welcome. I'm Alicia, and I so yesterday was actually the first day, but I was having like technical difficulties with things. And I mean, I went ahead and like recorded a video and uploaded it on Facebook, but last night I was like, okay, I need to record here on Zoom, so that I can repurpose that video, and then also here on TikTok because I have the opportunity now to do lives on TikTok, which is really exciting. And so I'm introducing the Velvet Tide Reset, which is a pranayama centric flow and also ode to the moon and the moon cycles. So every 28 days, the moon goes into different phases, right? And how are you, though, using or utilizing that energy to achieve the goals that you're looking to achieve, whether it is, getting a better job or improving your situation, um, making more income, or even spending more time with the people that you love? How are you actually implementing things to help achieve that? A lot of times I found with clients, you know, their breath is actually holding them back from the things that they desire. And not only that, but also their fascia. Okay. And so with that, I want to first start talking about pranayama, because this is essentially a pranayama class online. And so, and I hope you can hear me okay. I have kind of two microphone things going on here because I'm recording on one other device and then I'm also recording here on TikTok. And welcome for those of you that are here. Um, we're going to be doing a yoga flow here in just a moment, but I did want to um, talk about pranayama, and what is prana, because we see so many things online. It's ridiculous. There's so much noise. There's breath work this, breath work that. People are feeling pressure to try these very advanced techniques of breath work, and in reality, they have not gained mastery over simple samadhi, which is even waves of breath. Okay, and so how are we actually attaining that? So, um, before we move forward, I want to say, if you know someone that shallow breathes or that holds their breath, please tag them and point them this way, because for the next 14 weeks, we're going to be going over breathing techniques, the different types of pranayama, because there are eight that I'll be going over. The two focuses right now is Samavriti and then Sitali breath. I'm wanting to introduce Sitali breath because it is summertime. It's hot. People's pitta is through the roof. A lot of people are very sharp with their words, and that is me. Like, and this summer really showed me that my pitta imbalance really went off the Richter scale. I was getting rashes, and things from eating peppers. The one thing that I love pepper tacos, and I can't even have those, but it's all good. I and utilizing these breathing techniques to help actually cool the internal organs. So that is what sit to lead breath is going to help with, and we'll go over that here during our practice. Okay, and then if you are interested in a breathwork class, and you are interested also in astrology and the moon, because that's going to be tied in together, because we are going to be following the moon every 3 to 4 days roughly as it goes into the different phases. So yesterday we were at kind of the zero phase going into the first phase. So the zero phase was the peace phase. And then um, the next phase after that is the planning phase. So we are fully in the planning phase of the moon, and the moon stays in a phase for about 3 to 4 days or so. And so, what are you planning to achieve in the next 28 days? What systems and techniques are you utilizing to help you get there? Are you even creating a goal that is on the right path? Because as Dr. Benjamin Hardy said, a lot of us, we tend to go for the lesser goals that are easy and not that impossible goal. Okay. And so, um, so the focus of yesterday's class, in this whole week, okay, is we're doing a soft opening for this course, and we're focusing on breath, safety, and nervous system grounding. And the quote for this week is, "I finally feel my body exhale." Okay. And have you ever felt an exhale on the entire body level, right? Many people have not. So, prana, we'll start with what is prana. Okay, yoga makes us feel good because it helps to reshape our energy. Now, if you have ever gotten a Reiki session or you do Reiki yourself, um, you know that working with energy, it is all around us, it's within us. But how do you actually tap into that? Okay, and that energy is the life force energy, and it is also called prana. So life force energy, I feel like it has a few different names, but really it is prana. We have prana inside of us, it's on the outside of us as well. And how much we have and its distribution in our bodies determines our health and state of mind. We can work with prana to remove disease, to vitalize cells and tissues, and to clear the mind from repetitive negative thinking. Focusing on breath, sending the breath to the deeper places within our bodies is when you are working with prana. Okay. And this is really important for those of you, myself included, who have had an injury that just really took you off your kilter, right? So a lot of times, especially when we are injured, our breaths really become chest breathing. We're not really breathing down here in the belly, where it's essential to help push out any like stagnant air that is trapped in the lungs and trapped in the muscles. Um, and so in yoga, working with the prana is called pranayama. And so in yoga, there are yamas and there's niyamas. And we'll get into that later down the line. Not necessarily, because that's more for in a teacher's training program, kind of where you learn the yamas and the niyamas. But I feel like they're really important too, just for everyday understanding about prana and the different things that we do in yoga. So, pranayama is the art and science of drawing in and building our stores of energy. The yogis' focus is to bring prana into the spine for balance, health, and ultimate enlightenment. And so, as we're breathing, I'll be giving visual cues, breathing into the certain areas of the body. As we do asana, which is the movement and the poses, we want to check in with our breath. Is our breath leading us, or is our body leading us? Typically, we're following the breath, like, when we're doing poses that are like, for example, forward folds. those should be exhales. And then when we open back up, those are when you inhale, right? And then a little bit of guidelines, as we begin this practice of pranayama. We want to always begin pranayama comfortably and with a clear mind. Forcing the pranayama will, with tension or rushing through a practice, can create mental chaos and imbalance in the nervous system. And that's why a lot of times you may see these breath workshops and people um, can hyperventilate or they can like go into these spaces. And if there isn't a teacher or guide there to help them through that, as they're integrating the work of breathing, it can cause a lot of disturbances in the nervous system. And so we want to avoid that, right? We're wanting to utilize our breath to help us and not to harm us. And um, pranayama is best practice after asana and then before meditation. Okay, and then uh, we always want to wait at least 3 hours after a meal to do pranayama. So if you've just eaten breakfast, I'm here in California. It's still morning. Yeah, it's like 9:40. So it's still morning time. And I would say just watch and then do the practice later on if you've recently eaten, less than 3 hours. But if you have, if you haven't eaten and you're like, no, I'm good, then cool, because I'm doing the same. I'm not going to eat till later. Okay. And so um and pranayama is best done at dawn and dusk. I kind of missed that mark because I was trying to figure out this whole my whole setup here. But I have it set up good, so I think we're gonna be good to go here. Um, and then we're not gonna ever do more than 10 to 15 minutes of pranayama. Okay. And that's because I'm not physically there with you. Okay. It's better to do if you're going to experience longer sessions of pranayama, you typically want an experienced guide there with you physically and not virtually. Okay, so these are going to be virtual online classes and teachings. So um, and then it's good to follow a healthy lifestyle. In Ayurveda, we call it a sattvic diet and living in a sattvic environment, or if you've established a steady practice of pure breathing and yogic diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. So, like I mentioned, we're going to focus really on two different breaths here. Okay. So, samavriti, the definition of that is balanced wave or equal breathing. So, for example, that's 1 to 1. Okay, so 4 counts in, 4 counts out, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. So I'll be cueing that, and um, we will be taking breaks because it is morning. So we're going to do sun sal. Okay, we're going to be doing some sun salutations today with a little focus on breathing, and then in the evening is when um, I offer the lunar salutation, okay, which can be a little more advanced in the poses and postures, but I'm approaching it from teaching beginners. Okay, so if you are experienced and you like a slower flow here and there, you're in the right place. Okay, and so the technique with Samavriti is equal inhalation and exhalation. No catching or hesitations. Okay, so for beginners, it's 1 to 1. and then advance is 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. Some benefits of Samavritti: it prepares the lungs. Okay, we always want to practice and prepare with the basic breathing. Okay, because you want to get used to feeling your diaphragm, moving as you inhale and exhale. It helps the nervous system and mind for the pranayama practices as we get into the other practices of it. And it increases the mind and body connection and the practitioner's ability to focus. So many people have a hard time focusing, um, and that is because of all of the distractions. And so that is also why I created the Velvet Tide Reset, which is geared towards the moon salutation, the evening, winding down. How do you wrangle in all the thoughts? How do you wrangle in all of the things and be able to set those aside and have a clearer mind? Okay. And then sit to lead breath. And the definition for that is that which is calm, passionless, and soothing. And this is a cooling breath. Breathing deep and smooth. Inhale deeply through a rolled tongue, then close the mouth, swallow, and then exhale through the nose. This we usually start with about 9 rounds. Okay. Up to 15. 9 is usually good, when you're first learning. And then the benefits and contraindications of sit to lead are that it is grounding, cooling to the mind and body, and it is excellent for balancing pitta, which pitta is like the fire, is more on the fiery element side of the elements in Ayurveda. Okay, and so it induces tranquility, peacefulness of body and mind. Okay, there are contraindications though for Sitali. And if you are someone who has low blood pressure, asthma, bronchitis, and excessive mucus, you may want to either not do them, do it as many times, um, and you may want to speak to your physician or your doctor or whoever you go to for your medical advice and, get their take or their okay on it. Okay. And before we hop into practice, I did just want to talk about the Pitta dosha. So there's three doshas in Ayurveda. There's Pitta, Kapha, and Vata. And so, depending on your makeup and your chemistry and all of that, um, a lot of times you were dual dosha, and sometimes there are tridoshic people as well. But typically, there is one dominant element out of the two. And like I said, for myself, I'm a Pitta Kapha. And so the pitta, it says that which digests and transform things, digestion and metabolism. Okay, and so that has a lot to do with the gut, the small intestines, also the colon, and the liver and things of that nature. And so the element is fire and water. And the balancing elements of it are earth, air, and space. Okay. And so some some herbs that are helpful for balancing pitta. So if you find yourself being really like, I don't want to say bitchy, but if you're like really like being very sharp with people, if you have a short temper, you're like getting irritated, you're getting frustrated, that is an indication that your pitta is out of balance. Okay, and you have a very fiery personality. Now, if you have a fiery personality, naturally, I mean, you might just naturally have like a little bit of pitta imbalance, right? But um if you notice, because I like this summer, I don't know, this whole year has really been like, man, like, okay, I'm really like I really need to pay attention to this. 'Cause I'm over here hurting people's feelings, right? And you never that's not my intention, but it's like in order for me to come across like it comes out very sharp, right? And I don't know if any of you can relate. I can't see the comments. I can see people that are joining, but I'm kind of over here, right? But welcome to everyone that's here. Thank you for joining. And yeah, you can comment and share. This is, a conversation because I feel that people are not breathing deep enough to help themselves. Okay, because I do um, body work for people. I'm a massage therapist, and so when a person comes in and they, are having certain pain patterns, um, we do have a dialogue about breathing and like what are their activities and that sort of thing. I haven't gone as far as like having them fill out a thing for their doshas just yet, because it's not my location at that I'm at right now, but that will be getting added to like my intake form so that I'm aware and can like recommend things better for that person. But um some herbs that are helping, you want more astringent, bitter, sweet things. Um, Obviously, calming, cooling, aromatic things like legumes, carbs, fat, and sugars, um, and the stuff that aggravates it is salty, sour, pickled foods, vinegars, pungent, spicy, hot, oily, and most condiments. And yes, I can attest to that because I was like waking up with these weird rashes everywhere, and I'm like, what is happening? And as soon as I stopped eating that stuff, I had to like do a whole rehaul over on what I eat because um like potatoes I had to cut out, all of the nightshade vegetables I basically had to cut out. Um and this dosha is connected directly to our solar plexus, okay, so our will. So, and yeah, so I think we are good to hop into some asana. So let me make sure here. So if you have essential oils, I always invite the class to, have your favorite essential oil. You can switch it up. Yesterday I was using a different one, but today I'm using one called Harmony by Acacia. It's a balancing oil. And so we can go ahead and come to our mat. Hmm. All right. So we're going to take our essential oil. We're just going to put one drop in our hand, rubbing it together. Yeah, this one has a lot of like lavender notes in it. All right, and then we're gonna take some nice inhales, 4 count in and 4 count out. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale And exhale. All right. All right. Before we start our practice, I'm going to um, open with the Ganesha song. Ganesha Grahanikshatra Yoginira Shirupani Devi Mantra Mahim Naomi Matrikampi Tarupani Ganesha Grahanikshatra Yoginira Shirupani Devi Mantra Mayim Naomi Matrikampi Tarupani Ganesha Grahanikshatra Yoginira Shirupani Devi Mantra Mayim Naomi Matrikampi Tarupani Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. So let's meet in tabletop. Hopefully you guys still hear me. All right. So we're going to start in tabletop. I'm going to feel all 4 points, your knees and hands. We're going to start to do some gentle child's to table. Child's pose. The tabletop. Child's pose. And tabletop. And we're going to rest into child's here. And we're going to 4 breaths in and 4 breaths out. In and out. Inhale and exhale. Start to feel the low back release. I'm going to go ahead and roll forward into upward dog. Back into child's. Let's go ahead and meet in down dog. And let's walk the dog. Walk it out. feeling a stretch in the back of the legs. Being sure to point your hips up to the sky. And we're going to come down to plank and lower down for cobra. Back down, back to table. And back to the child's table flow. Inhaling into table, exhaling into child's pose. Inhale. Being sure to check in with your shoulders, making sure they are down and tucked back onto the back of your shoulders there, pulling them back and down. Child's. Back to table. And let's meet in down dog again. Let's walk the dog. You make these movements as big or as small as you need. Just feeling a nice stretch along the back of the legs. Now we can walk our hands to meet, or walk our feet to meet our hands. We're gonna meet in the forward fold. We're gonna raise up halfway, flat back, lower back down, forward fold. Sweep your arms behind your legs and go ahead and stand up. Let's find our Tadasana and mountain pose. Notice your breath. So let's do a little bit of Himalayan cave exercises. Kind of get us stimulated. It's morning time. We want our energy to meet us where we're at. Okay, so we're going to first start with our arms, side to side. Now you may notice your breath starting to increase. Just be sure to follow your breath. If I'm going too fast or slow, just go at your pace. Helping to loosen up around the lungs. Our arms are down by our side so much throughout the day. When do you ever reach up? We can take it to the side. All right. And we're going to pause and feel. Let's catch our breath. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. All right, we're going to do some circles with our leg. Start to warm up the lower body. So we're coming from the midline, going out So I'm standing on my left leg, my right leg circling out, getting some rotations in that hip joint. You may feel some snap, crackle, pops. I just felt my back pop. And let's take it the other way. So when you're doing these, you want to inhale as the leg is out. Exhale as you bring it in. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's switch legs. Shake the left one out. Shake them out, shake them out. All right, and then we got go in on the left. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You can go the opposite way. And it's okay if you have to, you know, catch yourself with your other foot, like for balance. Okay. Excellent. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. All right. So we can come to the top of our mat. Sweeping arms up. Inhale, forward fold, exhale. Coming up halfway, flat back, down to plank, knees, chin, chest, chaturanga, cobra, lifting back into table, and then child's. Let's meet back at our child table flow. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and be sure to check in with your shoulders. Make sure they're not up by your ears, pulling them down. Exhale in the child's. Inhale into table. Let's meet in down dog. Let's find our breath here. So your hips are pointing up. Your heels may or may not be on the mat, and that's fine. Nice big inhale, 4 count. Nice big exhale, 4 count. Coming to knees with control. And we can sit on our knees and feel. If you need your cushion, that will help. Checking in with your breathing. Is your breath leading you, or is your body leading the breath? All right, and let's go ahead and meet back in table. We caught our breath, and we're going to sway our spine side to side. And start to say hello to that low back in a different way. You may feel it sticky, it might be painful, stiff. You want to start to loosen up those dust bunnies trapped in the corners of our sides, the sticky fascia. There's a humongous, almost sheet of fascia at the low back. So it connects the back muscles to the hip. And when we are stationary for most of the time, that creates a glue at that area. Essentially, the fascia starts to act like glue, and it can create muscle spasms, it can create trigger points, and a whole bunch of other things in the low back. Now, typically, you would want your head on the floor in child's, but because of the microphones, I'm just gonna kind of stay there. We're gonna come back into upward dog. Check in with your shoulders, make sure they're not up by your ears. And let's breathe. You still want your core engaged, but you want to allow the breath to reach down into your pelvis, okay? We're emptying the bowl, we're emptying out all of the sadness and the disappointment and the things that we've shoved down into our pelvic bowl. We're emptying out that pelvic bowl to the earth to take it and transmute it for us. Nice big breath. And then exhale. On your next exhale, we're going to go back into child's. Let's go ahead and meet in down dog. Walk or hop the feet to the hands, meeting in the forward fold, raising up halfway, flat back down to a forward fold, sweeping the arms up, and then meeting at the heart. All right, so let's go ahead and come to our mat and on our back. I did not grab my strap, but it's okay. If you have a strap, that would be good. If not, you don't necessarily need one, but we're going to bend our knees and have our feet flat on the mat. And we're going to start to gently roll and let our knees fall side to side. And do self massage here for the sacrum. Just letting the knees naturally fall side to side. Now, this may be painful if you do have low back, so be gentle with yourself, but also understand that you are actually doing good. You're getting some blood flow to that area from the compression of the floor. And you're also encouraging the fascia to unstick from itself in a gentle way. Because sometimes people like to be forceful, and that can actually create almost like a healing crisis where the body's like, wait, what's happening? And even though it's supposed to be something good for you, it will almost like shut off and not respond. All right, and then when you get to the left, so just go ahead and let your knees fall to the left. You can take your arms out to the side and look over the right shoulder. You should feel a pretty good twist here. Okay, and we're gonna breathe here. Try and breathe down. It may feel stuck. I know for a while it felt stuck for me until I really started practicing breathing deep. So we're gonna 4 count in and 4 count out, visualizing breathing down into that side there where you feel twisted. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And bringing these back to center and feel. Now let's take the knees to the right and looking over your left shoulder. Same count, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. And bring our knees back to the center. Go ahead and grab onto your knees and bring them into your chest as best you can. Let them fall away. Inhale and exhale, bringing the knees in, pushing all that air out. Inhale and exhale. All right, and I invite you to relax your legs down, have your arms out to the sides as we prepare for Shavasana. You're welcome to grab bolsters or blankets or other pillows if you feel are necessary. And we're going to start with awareness at the bottoms of our feet. Saying hello to your feet, giving them permission to relax. Saying hello to your ankles, giving them permission to relax. Your calves, permission to relax. Your knees, permission to relax. Your hips, permission to release and relax. anything that's no longer serving. Your belly, allowing it to relax. Your left hand, allowing it to relax. Your left wrist and forearm, allowing it to relax. Your elbow and arm, the shoulder, permitting it to relax. Your right hand, allowing it to relax. Your right wrist and forearm, allowing it to relax. Your elbow, arm, and shoulder on the right, allowing it to relax. Your breast and collarbones, allowing them to relax. Your cervical spine and your head, allowing it to relax. Your forehead, your eyebrows, and your eyes, allowing them to relax. Focusing on your breaths. Do you feel hesitation in your breath? Have you noticed a slight evenness now? So as you stay in Shavasana, I like to do a little mala japa. Excuse me, mala japa. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 And you can come to meet me in, on your seat there. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming to practice with me. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Um, I will definitely be um on more. Okay.